Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So, in today's video, we're going to talk about something that honestly doesn't get enough attention but really should. And that's stomach cancer, or gastric cancer, as it's called in the medical world. Now, we're going to walk through what it actually is, talk about the signs and symptoms, especially the ones people tend to brush off, then get into how it's diagnosed, and of course, how it's treated. And I really recommend sticking around till the end, because some of the symptoms we'll cover might not seem like they're related to the stomach at all, but they could be key signs that something more serious is going on. All right, let's dive in. So, what exactly is stomach cancer? Well, put simply, it happens when the cells in the lining of the stomach start growing in a way they're not supposed to. They multiply out of control, and over time they can form a tumor. And if that tumor isn't caught early, it can grow deeper into the stomach wall, or worse, spread to other organs. Now, the most common type is something called gastric adenocarcinoma. It's a mouthful, I know, but all it really means is that the cancer started in the gland-like cells that line the inside of the stomach. There are some less common types too, like gastrointestinal stromal tumors, also known as GISTs, or gastric lymphomas and neuroendocrine tumors. But for this video, we're mostly focusing on adenocarcinomas since they make up about 90% of all stomach cancers. So, who's at risk? Well, there are quite a few things that can raise your chances of developing stomach cancer. One of the big ones is a long-term infection with something called H. pylori. It's a type of bacteria that infects the stomach lining and causes inflammation, which over time can lead to cancer. Other risk factors include eating a lot of smoked or salted foods, especially things high in nitrates, like processed meats, pickled veggies, that sort of thing. Also, smoking and drinking too much alcohol. Then we've got genetics. If you've got a family history of stomach cancer, or if you have conditions like Lynch syndrome or FAP, your risk is higher too. Now here's the tricky part. Stomach cancer often doesn't cause any symptoms at first, and when symptoms do show up, they're usually mild. So people might just think it's gas or a bad meal or indigestion. But over time, symptoms become more obvious. One of the first signs is persistent pain in the upper belly. Not sharp stabbing pain, more like a dull, ongoing ache that sticks around and doesn't really go away. Then there's unexplained weight loss. Like if someone's dropping kilos without even trying, and especially if they're also not feeling very hungry, that's something to pay attention to. A lot of people with stomach cancer also get this thing called early satiety. It basically means you feel full after eating just a few bites. You can imagine how that leads to even more weight loss. Nausea is another common one. Some people might even vomit, especially if the tumor is blocking food from passing through the stomach properly. And speaking of vomiting, if it's a more advanced case, you might see blood in the vomit. Sometimes it looks bright red. Other times it looks like coffee grounds. Yeah, kind of gritty and dark brownish. That's a sign of digested blood. Or the blood might show up in the stool. And when that happens, it turns black and sticky and smells really bad. That's called melena. And honestly, it's one of the big red flags that tells doctors, okay, something's bleeding higher up in the digestive system, maybe even the stomach. Some folks also feel like food is getting stuck when they swallow. That's called dysphagia. It usually means the tumor is near the top of the stomach, close to where it connects to the esophagus. And yeah, all of these symptoms might not seem that dramatic at first, but when you add them up, they start painting a pretty concerning picture. Now let's talk about what happens when stomach cancer spreads, because unfortunately, it often does. And when it spreads, it can cause symptoms in places you wouldn't normally associate with the stomach. So for example, one of the classic signs of advanced stomach cancer is a hard lump just above the left collarbone. That's called Virchow's node. If a doctor feels that during a physical exam, they're definitely going to want to investigate further. Another one is a hard lump near the belly button. That's called a Sister Mary Joseph nodule. Weird name, I know, but it's a well-known sign of cancer spread inside the abdomen. In women, stomach cancer can also spread to the ovaries. When that happens, we call it a Krukenberg tumor. It usually affects both ovaries and can cause bloating, pain, or just a general feeling of fullness down there. Then there's the liver. It's actually one of the most common places for stomach cancer to spread. And when it does, it can cause jaundice, that yellowing of the skin and eyes. It might also cause a buildup of fluid in the abdomen. That's called ascites. It makes your belly look swollen and feel tight, and it's usually pretty uncomfortable. And if cancer cells reach the lungs or the area around the lungs, you might get something called a pleural effusion. That's when fluid builds up around the lungs and makes it harder to breathe. People with this often feel short of breath or like they just can't get enough air. And then there are rare signs like certain skin changes. You might see dark velvety patches in skin folds, especially around the neck or armpits. That's called acanthosis nigricans. And sometimes there's this sudden appearance of lots of small, waxy skin growths. That's something called Leser-Trellat sign. These are what we call paraneoplastic syndromes, basically indirect effects of cancer elsewhere in the body. Okay, so how do doctors figure out what's going on? It usually starts with a conversation. The doctor will ask about your symptoms, your medical history, your family history, and then they'll probably order some blood tests. But the gold standard for diagnosing stomach cancer is something called an upper endoscopy. That's when a thin tube with a camera goes down your throat and into your stomach. If anything looks abnormal, they can take a little tissue sample, a biopsy, and send it to the lab to check for cancer cells. There might also be imaging tests like CT scans, or even a PET scan to see if the cancer has spread. In some cases, doctors use something called an endoscopic ultrasound. That helps them see how deep the tumor goes into the stomach wall and whether any nearby lymph nodes are involved. And once they have all that information, they can figure out the stage of the cancer. And that's what determines the treatment. So let's talk treatment. If the cancer's caught early, and I mean really early, surgery might be enough to remove it completely. That could mean removing part of the stomach or sometimes the whole stomach. Yeah, it sounds extreme, but if it gets rid of the cancer, it can be life-saving. Most of the time, though, treatment involves a combination of surgery, chemotherapy, and sometimes radiation. Chemo can be given before surgery to shrink the tumor. That's called neoadjuvant therapy. Or after surgery to kill any leftover cancer cells, which is adjuvant therapy. Now, if the cancer is more advanced and can't be removed with surgery, the goal shifts a bit. Treatment becomes more about controlling the disease and helping the person feel better for as long as possible. And here's where things get interesting. In the last few years, there have been some major breakthroughs in targeted therapies and immunotherapy. For example, if the cancer cells have a certain protein called HER2, doctors might use a drug like trastuzumab. If the cancer shows high levels of PD-L1 or microsatellite instability, drugs like nivolumab or pembrolizumab might be an option. These newer treatments aren't for everyone, but for the right patient, they can make a big difference. So, to wrap this all up, stomach cancer is serious, no doubt about it. But like with most cancers, early detection is key. The earlier you catch it, the more options you have, and the better the chances of beating it. If you or someone you know is dealing with stomach pain that doesn't go away, unexplained weight loss, trouble eating, or any of the other symptoms we talked about, please, don't wait. Get it checked. A simple endoscopy could catch it early. Alright, that's all for today's video. I hope this helped clear things up and gave you a better understanding of what stomach cancer can look like, both in its early stages and when it's more advanced. If this was helpful, go ahead and like the video, subscribe for more clear and easy-to-understand health content, and feel free to share it with someone who might need it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.